Hi, this is Matthew. Welcome to another LoveBudi Love Tip. This is a love tip for August 2nd, 2019. Today we're going to talk about love songs. Love songs is such an interesting idea. People write songs about love, and it's such a major topic. So many people do searches on love songs. That's why I'm sharing this today. In the 5-minute love tip, the idea is to help us understand love, explore love, have more love in our lives. Okay, so let's get started. Love songs. Paul McCartney wrote a song. People should have had enough of silly love songs, but I look around me and I see it isn't so. And then he goes on to have the love song himself and to share the love himself. Love songs are almost always every time about romance. People fall in love, and the way to describe that love, that romantic love, music is used as a medium. Why? I had an interesting experience once when I was in Scientology. Now, anybody asks me about Scientology today, and I tell them, and I would tell them for the last 20 years that it's a cult that I was seriously involved with for 5 years of my life in my younger days. Until I started realizing what love was, and I saw that the organization and the people in there were not focused or centered on love. They were centered on, really, it was Scientology centered, and even more than Scientology centered, it was L. Ron Hubbard centered. So anything that L. Ron Hubbard said, he was alive at the time. Now he's dead and gone, but he was alive at the time I was involved in Scientology. And anything he said, because he created the whole thing. So even if he said, oh, I was wrong about that, here's this, people changed to listen to him instead of what Scientology's documents, doctrine, whatever would say. Okay, so when I was in Scientology, now having said that, when I was in Scientology, something interesting happened. They have this kind of counseling. And in this counseling, they'll ask you questions. And regardless of all of the cult-like aspects of Scientology, there's some really fascinating stuff, and there's some really wild stuff, and some very cool stuff that people know, that people experience, that you can experience inside of Scientology. I wouldn't recommend it, but because it gets kind of risky, people would get caught inside of Scientology and think that the other aspects of it are true. But here's one aspect. When I was getting some counseling one time, I was being asked questions about something that supposedly happened to me a very, very long time ago in a previous life. And having a chance to express this idea, having a chance to express, I don't really remember what we were talking about at the time, but I do remember that there was something that I was digging deep into my soul to expose, which we can do without Scientology, by the way, but it was quite effective at finding that. What it exposed was something deep inside of me, and it had to do with music, and it had to do with an assertion that I made. I had never been told this, and I didn't really understand it until I was in the session, and what I observed was that music, art in general, was at a very high level of human existence. It wasn't what some people consider, maybe sometimes people consider something like a drum circle to be very kind of like a primate related, something that might have more to do with the more primitive aspects of the human brain, of human existence. This was quite the opposite. What I had realized in our exploration was that music itself was at an extremely high level. It was above joy. It was beyond concepts of happiness. It was beyond the concept of unity. It was beyond the concept of intellect. It exists at a level in the universe that allows communication way beyond anything we could ever say in a million years. And you've probably experienced that yourself. You've probably experienced how music moves you. Sometimes when we're down, or sometimes when we're having a party, man, music is always there. Music is at a wedding. Music and dancing is at a wedding. It's at funerals a lot of times, although it's kind of depressing at a funeral. Birthday parties, you know, they've even got a song for a birthday party. And that's how we bring this back around to romantic love, because we can use a love song to express our love for another person in a way that goes way beyond sending chocolate. Chocolates are nice, but love is at a much higher frequency. And when we use music to express that love, we're getting a lot more bang for our buck. We're getting a lot more expression. We're getting a lot more depth. We're getting a lot more of everything, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just we're able to explain or express that feeling so much greater, so much better with music. So love songs, I mean, they move our body, they move our soul, they move our heart. And when a person moves us, we can express that better by using music, by enjoying something someone else wrote, or enjoying something that we could even write ourselves if we're a writer. There's a song by Billy Joel called Rosalinda's Eyes. It's on the album, I think, 52nd Street. It's not a popular song, really. It's not one of his favorite. It's my favorite, because the song resonates with me about a man who says, I can always see my Cuban skies in Rosalinda's eyes. Everything he does for her kind of chokes me up a little bit, because he's so devoted to her. And that devotion can be expressed through love. Can be expressed, that love and devotion can be expressed through music. So the romance that he feels, the devotion, the feelings that he has for her are felt and expressed. You know, he's a musician in a band, and he plays in weddings, but has ambitions to go to Cuba because he's a Cuban guy and he wants to go back home. So each of us has our own unique personality. We have our own unique soul. We have our own unique love. We have our own unique romantic ideals, and that song touches me. And there are a lot of different love songs that touch me in different ways that I think are fantastic, but that happens to be my favorite. What's yours? Is there a love song that really moves you? This is something that goes beyond intellect, right? It goes beyond something we can express in words. It moves us so much. It can move us to joy or tears of joy. Music is fantastic. Huge part of my life, always has been, always will be. And love songs are a fantastic expression of love. So, just interesting kind of a side about love and about love songs. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope your life is filled with love. I hope everything is going wonderful for you. I love you. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, bye-bye for now.